Okay, I think we can all agree that Pokemon Go is obviously a huge game, and it's always been a huge game since it was released in 2016. However, with the sale to Scope Play obviously being finalised, I want to go over why Nintendo didn't actually make an offer to buy this game, which to me was kind of weird to think about to begin with, because this game, with Pokemon Go and also the game Pikmin Bloom, which to a lesser extent is also a major mobile game. These games are a Nintendo franchise, and they just weren't published by Nintendo, and then the developer was just sold, and Nintendo didn't say nothing about it. Now, I'm going to go over my reasons why I think this happened. First of all, $3.5 billion is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And that is how much Scopely paid for a Niantic's game studio, which obviously is the one that obviously created Pokemon Go, Pikmin Bloom, and all those other things. And that's basically the company who acquired them all. Now, 3.5 billion is a lot of money, and I know Nintendo has 3.5 billion. They are quite a wealthy company. I believe they're the wealthiest company in Japan. But here's the kicker. Nintendo isn't known for doing big acquisitions. They're not known for spending billions on an acquisition. And it's very likely that Nintendo saw the price tag that was paid for these games, and they decided not to do it. Another thing I think needs to be factored in here is obviously Niantic's game studio and obviously Pokemon Go and Pikmin Bloom and all that stuff were mobile games, right? And Nintendo has never been that big into mobile games. They did try for a little while with obviously games like Mario Kart, I think it was Mario Kart Tour, and like Super Mario Run and stuff like that. And those games, whilst not terrible, really just kind of like didn't feel right being on mobile devices. And also, let's be very fair for Nintendo, those games are very lackluster. Pokemon Go was obviously a huge success in 2016 when it first came out, and everyone loved it. And how people were even like enjoying the game during the pandemic, when obviously we had to like not allow to go certain places, because obviously you could play the game whilst you went out for a walk, get some fresh air, whilst you avoiding people, because that's something we all love doing. We all love avoiding people. Now, I also feel like the mobile aspect is another big thing, because Nintendo's clearly pushed away from mobile games. They if you look at them over the last few years, they've clearly focused more on their Switch line of consoles, because obviously the Switch 1 now the Switch 2 are bringing in a lot of money for Nintendo, and their focus is clearly on game development for those systems, because obviously they understand the hardware better. It's easier for them to develop for, because obviously they actually understand, and their development teams are all more capable of developing for those systems than they are for mobile devices. Plus, as well, they know what games appeal more to their fans on traditional hardware over what you'd get on a mobile device, because obviously mobile phones, the games are very much, a lot of them are very similar, a lot of them are very samey, and it's kind of hard to stay relevant within the mobile space. We've seen this with Pokemon Go, for example, with Pokemon Go having peaks and valleys throughout the gaming and throughout its game's lifespan over 9 years. Now, we also need to factor in the fact that the Pokemon Company obviously would have had to have a say, because this Pokemon Company and being the one that licensed the Pokemon name to Niantic would obviously might have some objections to Pokemon Go being owned by Nintendo, or they may have some objections in general of Nintendo acquiring such a big part of obviously the Pokemon Company's legacy, because obviously Pokemon Go is huge, it is well known, and it is clearly quite profitable. They have 100 million active monthly accounts, which is no small means by anything, because obviously 100 million is a lot of people. That's more than the whole of the UK, which is supposedly a major country. It was supposedly a major power at one point, but 100 million people is a lot of people. So do I think they're the reasons that Nintendo didn't buy Niantic and didn't buy Pokemon Go? Yeah, I think that's from what I understand, that's just justifiable. They didn't want to spend the money, and they tried moving away from the mobile space. And I also feel like there would have obviously been issues from obviously the Pokemon Company as well, might have something to say about Nintendo trying to acquire their most successful mobile game. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, turn notifications. I've been EC, and I'm signing out. Peace.